Hello Astro van enthusiasts, automotive enthusiasts, engine replacer enthusiasts. It's September 5th, 2024. It's 5:50 in the afternoon on the Eastern Seaboard in the USA. September 5th, 2024, 5:50 in the PM. Getting a late start today because had to run errands, but a lot of good parts came in today. I got my 16 American wire gauge from Pacer Group today in the 4 colors I wanted. And you might ask, Dennis, why these 4 colors? Well, these are used for the trailer lights, and it's green and brown and yellow and white. Green, brown, or brown, green, yellow, and white for a standard automotive trailer connection. I like Pacer Group because it's marine grade wire, which is significantly different than automotive grade wire. And I guess I should have gone in 14 gauge instead of 16, but 16 is pretty much a universal for automotive wiring. And I have some black, so I'll be able to do the air conditioning wiring on the 1994 Astro van project when I get around to it. I'm going to leave that for last because I want to have everything mounted, and then I can use my split loom stuff to dress everything up. Now, I also ran out and got a new Harmonic Balancer from Napa, and this is made by Dorman, I believe. You can read that. I think that says Dorman. Maybe. Yeah, Dorman. I like Dorman. Dorman makes some good stuff. And the old one was 30 years old, and you can see that it's kind of off-center where the metal, the outer hub has a rubber thing to the inner hub. And I tried to straighten this out and make it where it wouldn't wobble, and maybe I did, I don't know. But anyway, I hit that with a dead blow hammer when it was laying flat like that. But I wanted a new one anyway, because you can see how cracked and deteriorated this is, and I don't want this flying down the highway. It doesn't have a pulley on or anything, but you know, might be dangerous. Also from Dorman came in the studs for on 1 and 2. And hang on a second, let me shut the radio down. So anyway, Dorman, the stud, and looks like the right thing. And I don't know if you can read that part number or not. Try to hold the camera steady. It's got 03112 on the package. I can read that much. 03112. So, I think I've got that sorted. And I found the box for the Work Pro. When I put number 1 spark plug back on, we'll be testing that and give a product review. It says it's a 5/8. Try to get in on that. Thin wall magnetic spark plug socket, 3/8 drive by 4-inch deep, 5/8 inch spark plug. So hopefully that'll make my life easier to get spark plug number 1 in and out. Now I did run out and get a garden battery. What is going on with batteries? These are so expensive now, and they only give you 90 days warranty on a gold level battery? That's crazy. What is going on in the world? Who gives a better warranty? I asked at Napa and they said 90 days. And anyway, I'm going to test these starters. I got one that has been in storage for probably 20 years or 10 years, and I have no idea if it works or not. And then this is the one that didn't work and wouldn't start my Astro van yesterday or even crank it. And it took a lot of current, like this is shorted out. So whatever the test is, I will decide what to do next. There's a starter repair place in Homestead right on Chrome and Flagler Street, where the two intersect at the busway, and it's been there forever. Let him fix it, or if I want to get a new solenoid and I'll fix it, or do I want to get a reman starter. And this one I don't think is that old. But anyway, this thing has a hell of a jump when you to this wire here, you put 12 volts on that little tiny terminal, and that makes a short circuit between these two, and your starter motor should energize. But it has a hell of a jump. It's got a lot of torque, so you got to hold it down real hard or stand back, one of the two. I think I'll stand back. It'll make a better photograph. It works. So why didn't it work in the car yesterday? Works every time. I don't know. Why didn't it work in the van? Doesn't sound healthy, does it? And this battery I just bought, and it's fully charged. I got that from AutoZone. Now I wish, see if it's hot, I wish I had bought the radiator from AutoZone instead of Rock Auto, because it was the same price, and they were both Spectra. I like Spectra, but it would have been here by now. As it is, it won't be here till Sunday, and I can't put the rest of it together till I get the radiator and plumb the transmission cooler lines and the oil lines and all that to the radiator. So, but I got things to do between now and then. It's Thursday today. Isn't this odd though that that's working now? But do I trust it? Probably not. Alright, now I'll test the other one. And I lost a dang nut. I need to get some more of those nuts to fit that stud. It's a SAE, and it looks like 7/16. It's smaller than 3/8. So let me think about this. 3/8 would be 6/16. So that would be what? Would be 6, would be what, 5/16? Sound right? Yeah. So anyway, I need to get some more 5/16 nut. Note to self, and I'll tell Siri to take a note and remind me later. So we'll move on to the other starter, and I'm going to try to get this installed. Now I have the correct tool for installing it now, and that took some doing. That I needed to know the thread size was 7/16 National Fine for the, because they say it's a universal for all V8s and V6s. They lie. They don't know what they're talking about. Plus Napa, I ordered a new center bolt for it, and Napa gave me this real tiny bolt, and according to their computer that's the right one. So I went online and everybody else said that was the right one, and it isn't. So I finally found it on eBay Motors, and I ordered that one, and I wish I could get it in Dorman, but I couldn't find it in Dorman. I don't like Dorman's website. It's very difficult for me to use. I can never find what I'm looking for, so I end up going on Advanced Auto, AutoZone, Napa, O'Reilly's, Parts Geek, you name it, and eventually I come up with a Dorman part number, and then I order it from whoever gives me fastest delivery and the best price. So anyway, I'm going to pause for a minute. We'll test that other starter. And I lost the nut when I was taking this off yesterday. It's under the van somewhere. I can't find it. But at my age, I gotta just accept that I'm doing the best I can. And I'm just happy to be on 2 feet. A lot of my friends and colleagues are not with us anymore. They've gone to visit God. They've all passed away, one thing or another. Heart attacks, cancers. A lot of my colleagues and friends are gone now, and a few have taken their own life, and it's sad. I'm glad I'm still here. I'm trying to keep going, guys, and I hope you're enjoying the video. Please give me a thumbs up if there's anything of good good information, like knowing this is a U1R-3 gold Duralast battery with only a 90-day warranty. Come on, people, you can do better than that. Maybe I have to check with Advanced Auto and see what diehards, what their warranty are and how much they are compared to what the other people are charging for a U1R-3. I really felt like I got ripped off today buying this. Okay, on this one I couldn't get this to tighten down because the threads are just so messed up on it. It's got like half the terminal burned off. But anyway, this is a fused 30 amp. So when you see, I'm not going direct from there to battery, I'm going through the fuse. Anyway, this one looks like it's probably going to work too. That one actually works better than the other one, but this one's got the messed up solenoid, so maybe a new solenoid would be good, because it looks like everything else is okay on that. It'll save me another $100 probably. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that one. What happens with electric motors, that over time the brushes wear, and an old mechanic strip is, if you're stuck and it won't do anything, you tap it with a brass hammer so you don't damage it, or a dead blow hammer. And for those in the audience that may not know what a dead blow hammer, it's a plastic hammer and it's filled with heavy material like birdshot, and when you shake it, it's like a maraca, but when you hit something with it, all that weight and power goes into the blow, and that's why they call it dead blow, because it hits and it transfers power and it doesn't kick back. So if you learned anything, give me a thumbs up please. But this is how they test starters on the bench without a load. There's no load on here. That thing wants to go to town, doesn't it? I wonder why I replaced it. Years ago when I was working and my wife was working, I just didn't have time to troubleshoot stuff. I'd have to get another part and see if that made it better. So anyway, we're going to install this damper today using the installation tool, and then once the damper's in, then I can double check my setting on my timing to make sure that the mechanical setup is done right. And I explained in the other video that by mechanical setup, this is an old distributor out of there. This might, see how corroded it was. It still worked though. Anyway, you set it mechanically to a mark that you've pre-established when you took it out, and put it back the same way when you have number one top dead center. And that's mechanically, and it wants to twist on you, because when you push it in, this is, you know, turns it like 1/8 of a degree, or I don't know, 2 or 3 degrees at least. And you have to do trial and error till you get the mark lined up. And this rotor lines up with the mark at the bottom, so you know which way the keyway is just by looking at the rotor. Somebody did something logical, so that was good, right? So moving on, I've got to get some work done. I got to get that installed first. Then I can double check the mechanical timing to make sure the distributor is coming up on the compression stroke, number one. And by stroke, I mean when the piston is at top dead center, which is all as high as it can go on the number one cylinder, it should, I make a mark, and these harmonic balancers had 2 marks. I don't know if this one does or not. Let me see. But one of them's bogus. Okay, that one has 1 mark. It has 2 marks. As this thing is going around clockwise, the first mark is bogus and the second mark is the real one. I don't know what the first mark's for. You know, post a comment. But from trial and error, empirical testing, I proved that that was right. So I need to double check my work before I put the number 1 spark plug back in. And then once I've double checked everything, then I can, and I can't do it now with this removed because I have no way to crank the engine with the starter removed and the bolt out. Now the replacement bolt, I told you I had to, it's 7/16 National Fine. It's hardened steel. It's a crankshaft harmonic balancer bolt for an RPO L35 engine, and I just can't find one online. Maybe you guys can. The only way I tried everything. I tried Advanced Auto, I tried AutoZone, I tried O'Reilly, I tried Parts Geek, I tried Rock Auto. I looked at all of the websites and no joy until I went to eBay Motors, and then I found one that looks like it works. And it's not returnable, but it was cheap enough that I could buy it and see if it works. I can use the old bolt in the meantime. This is not a showstopper. I just want a new bolt. The old one's kind of nasty on the end. Excuse me. So I'm going to pause the camera. We'll get on to the next segment and try to get some work done. And I failed to mention, the reason I keep nasty old jumper cables around, no matter how nasty they are, is a lot of times you have a bad ground, and the way you find out is you run the negative cable from a good ground that you know is good, like the negative side of the battery, to the thing that's questionable, like the engine or the frame or the starter or whatever you think may need a good ground. And I've done that successfully a couple of times and found bad grounds that way, is you give it another ground using the jumper cables. So on to the next segment. Okay, like I said, I had to look around to find this correct tool that actually works on this RPO L35 engine 4.3 liter V6. And you have to reconfigure it, so you got the bearing here to push, and then you got the nut there, and then it screws into the crankshaft. And I don't want to damage this crankshaft, so I want, or the harmonic balancer. That's why I did the official tool. And I'll try to get a good picture and post that in this slideshow. So it'll be right here where I put the photograph. Ding, ding, ding. Alright, make sure the keyway is straight and not at an angle or cocked, and that you have it engaged with the keyway and the crankshaft and sitting nice and square with before you start putting the power to this bolt here and installing the harmonic balancer. Now I put a little grease, marine grease, where the seal meets the harmonic balancer, and that's usually where they wear. Now if you got a worn out one, you can get an easy sleeve or speedy sleeve from online or any machine shop or hardware store and repair a harmonic balancer that needs it. But this was affordable, this harmonic balancer, and I was amazed how many people sell a harmonic balancer but they don't sell the bolt. And I couldn't get the bolt unless I ordered it on eBay, and that's what the bolt looks like there. I got it on frame. There it is. Alright. Can't get that bolt, and this one's a little chewed up. It's a bolt from the factory. So anyway, I'll finish installing the harmonic down, and then I'll check the number 1. No, I can't do that. Well, I could if I cranked it through by hand. So anyway, I'm going to pause the camera and we'll go on to the next segment. Okay, that's as far as I can make it go without, you know, you can definitely tell when you get as far as it'll go. The resistance goes way up against the wrench. Now you notice the thrust bearing does all the work here, and you're not beating on anything, and it's a good controlled process. And I always recommend people use the removal and installation tool anytime they're working, doing a job like this, because you can really mess up your life if you booger up that crankshaft or the threads or the thing you're trying to install. And that's especially true on the 3.7 Mercruiser. And getting it off isn't as hard as getting it back on. You need the install tool with that thrust bearing for the now, you can't use this tool for the I don't think, but I have the tool for the 3.7 liter Mercruiser. And I tell people that, but you know, they beat on it and the magnets come off, and then it destroys their rotor, and then their battery doesn't charge, and they got fragments of battery magnets flying everywhere, you know. But I try to tell people, don't make it worse. Don't make work for yourself. So thanks for watching. We'll get that off, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, I've colored up my TDC mark with yellow fluorescent paint, and the other mark, the first mark that comes around, is right where my finger is, and that's a bogus mark. I don't know what it's for or why they did that, but post a comment if you know. Now, I was turning this through by hand, and you see the pressure come up on the #1 compression stroke, and I think they described the 4-cycle engine, which is what this is, as suck, press, bang, blow. Which suck is when the piston's going down and the intake valve is open. That's the intake stroke till it gets to the bottom, and then when it comes up, that's the compression stroke. So it's suck, compress, bang is the power stroke, where it comes up to the top, and right before top dead center, like 8 degrees, which each of these marks is like 4 degrees, with the first mark being top dead center, according to Hoyle. And there are tools you can buy to triple check where top dead center is, but for our purposes we don't need to be that sophisticated. But it's suck, press, bang, blow, and then, you know, after the charge is exploded on the power stroke, the piston goes down, and then when it comes back up again, the exhaust valve opens, and we exhaust or rid the engine of burned charge. So for every 4 strokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a stroke is like a piston movement up or down would be 1 stroke, and it can be up or down. But you know, a 4-stroke engine does that, which is suck, compress, bang, blow. And there might be another way to say it. You more experienced people in the audience, post a comment. Suck, compress, bang, blow. And if you do that for 1 cylinder on a V6 engine, you multiply it by 6 or V8 or V12 or whatever. It's the same concept, but that affects your timing thing. Now once this paint dries a little bit, I'll move that mark just a little bit, and I'll make sure that I'm right on the money when I go to look at the distributor mark. Should be lined up perfectly. And this is a mechanical relationship, so it won't change. The electronic is controlled by the computer, and we'll set the electronic once we get this engine running in a few days. I'm waiting on the radiator to come in, and should be here Sunday, and today's Thursday. Like I said, I wish I had ordered it from AutoZone. I would have had it by now. Okay, I've lined this up with, this is how the factory said, they've got some device that goes in there and sets it. I don't know how they do it, but how they did it in the factory back in '94, but anyway, it's lined up. Now if I go look at the distributor and pull the cap off, it should be right on that mark that I set. So let's see if I'm right. Now since the distributor's installed, I don't have the danger of dropping this stuff down the hole like I did. Well, guess what, people? Like I said, the mark is on the mark. So I did it right. Now I have a broken part here in my hand, and I don't know what it is, but I got to put it back on the engine, and I got to find this broken tube that goes to the environmental canister up front, some kind of PVC control or what have you. Anyway, this thing's probably alright, but if it's cheap enough, Dorman makes it, but nobody makes this tube except General Motors, at least so far in my research, and that thing is expensive. So I won't be buying that from GM. Well, I gotta find who makes it. So people, we're moving right along here. I can put the distributor cap back on, put the #1 spark plug back in, because I have confidence that I got things lined up. I got that marked there like it needs to be, which if I hadn't made that mark there, I'd have to make it now. But and the other stud will go on the other side at #1 here when I get around to that. But for now I can install spark plug back into #1 and remove that compression gauge, because I'm happy with everything. Baby steps. I do things in a methodical manner if I'm smart. If I'm not smart, I skip steps, and then I have a big problem because I messed up. Okay, it worked like a dream, a beautiful dream, a good dream on #1. Because having a knurled thing here is very helpful. And I had told you this is workforce or something. Yeah, workforce. And this is an extra thin wall, 5/8 inch socket, extra deep. Oh man, I can't tell you how many years I fought with that #1 spark plug to get it. Getting it out wasn't bad, but getting it in and getting the socket off it was difficult. Wasn't fun at all. So now that we've got this far, let's put the driver's side front wheel back on, because I don't need to get to the spark plugs on that side anymore. And now that I've set the basic timing and I've made all my marks and I trust everything, I have confidence. On to the next segment. Okay, well, this is September 5th 2024. It's I don't know what time, 7:20 p.m. Eastern time. I've done about all I can do here today. I need to start cleaning up and putting things away and getting ready for dinner. This headlight needs to be replaced, and this one too, maybe. I don't know. They look like they're holding water. But hey Siri, what day of the week is it?
It's Thursday, September 5th, 2024.
Thank you, Siri. Alright, so tomorrow I can start putting on the power steering pump, the air conditioning compressor, and the alternator and the water pump, weather permitting. And they said we have a chance of rain tomorrow, but it wasn't going to be all that high. But I'm not going to try to crank this engine until I get the radiator installed and the cooling lines from the transmission and the cooling lines from the oil filter, which has got a remote oil fist on. It came from the factory that way. This van has a factory towing package. Now everybody says, why is this van so special? I'm like, well, I bought it new and I like it, and I've owned it for 30 years, and it's a very practical vehicle. It's very utilitarian. Very utilitarian. It does a lot of things really well for what it is, you know. And the 4L60E transmissions got better and better over the years, and I have a lot of people joining my Facebook group now since I mentioned it on the video. And I also have a 3.7 liter Mercruiser group and a GM ABS Kelsey Hayes group on Facebook, and y'all can join. But if you don't say where you are in the world, say I'm in Europe, or I'm in England, in Chestertown or whatever, and or in New Zealand, you know, you got to say where you are in the world, and you need to answer the group questions. Why do you want to join the group? What interest do you have in this group? You know, if you don't know the answer to that, I'm not going to let you in. It's a way for me to vet. And also, you have to agree to group rules. And if you don't do that, I won't accept you. I don't need you in my groups. I got plenty of people. I got a big audience in those groups. It's getting bigger every day. This YouTube channel is growing, but this documentary is going to stop at some point because I'm out of time to work on. I just don't have more time. I want to do a lot more to the van, like auto body repair, that I'm going to do myself, I think, because I can't get anybody to do it for me that isn't insane. They want insane money to do a little rust repair. Give me a break. Back in high school, we drove around cars with patches and primer gray, and you know, it was anything that would roll, we were operating. And there's no reason I can't do that with this, because it doesn't have to be a pretty van. But I do want the air conditioning to work. I do want the engine to work. It's got to be functional. And as an electrical engineer, electronic and electrical, I'm into function, not aesthetics. If I can get aesthetics, make it pretty, that's nice, but I'm really into function. Anyway, audience, thank you for watching. Dennis Sytsma, Dennis John Sytsma Productions, Homestead, Florida. Do-it-yourself work can be dangerous. This is not a how-to. This is a documentary. This is how Dennis did it. Death or injury can result, so if you do-it-yourself work, do it at your own risk and have the proper safety equipment and hopefully even training. Go to a Votech and get trained like I did. I took auto body repair classes at Robert Morgan Votech, and I took all kinds of training working for a federal government. They wanted us trained, especially on self-rescue and safety procedures. And it was a big deal if you got hurt by not following protocol. So, thanks for watching.